chia sẻ dịch nhôm từng ó đời xa ngày ní các thiệt nơi bờ tây Campuchia nơi Phnom Penh miền phèn khẹt khăng hơi cô khăng nè cô rừng tẹt khăng đối với có miền Panya Ha nơi nông ca live video chẳng percent bà rồi đời bậc ca là muối sông dịch nhôm năng cả na cũng chả để sắc xa tam lái người ta nó cua nữa về vật liệu có riêng dư đời xa tại chạm rồi bật câu bình tịch nè liếng mình chỉ Panya Ha và tầm khăn câu tiệt lợi dân ai là sinh khâm tha internet đào ló hay dân ai cho riêng to tới tiết ngày muốn là ngày dân sắc xa pi và đại sân thị thế này chào với ngày muốn nè chào với nó ok trong nát ngày muốn là chọn cọt vì cầm nát buồn dáng nè là đi là đi là trong sụp hơi dân miền đấy phần đấy nhưng là cọt vì sụp hơi mùi tiết nè còn nói đằng đấy nè Uppa thì cả cầm nát lời chứ đôi chị mình bạch thế pro nó sụp hơi dân riêng rồi thấy nè là dân châu đó mê riêng mây tại mình đón tới three characteristic hay mê riêng ấy cứ lặp vô lại đó nè là đây mê riêng ấy dân giấy nhật ấy tẹo thông mà thị vipassana nữa nè dân riêng này tam thử the three characteristic phải mấy chuyện nè ấy phải trời tam pịa sầm mánh pịa thà sầm mánh phải thà về tu từ comment nè lấy bay vậy kì nè trai lẹ cần nạ rồi trai lẹ thua cái nát bị tầm môi tại còn là khai dương đã tri khám bắn dương trong vậy xăm anh như là cái nát thoa dương sân cọt này và thay để thật thoa nó về tu từ cột mình đúng hết á nè bây giờ vậy tại lẽ dương đăng thật thoa nó miền bay mình đăng thật bay nó xây sầm khăn mấy chứ giờ đăng á bây giờ đã xăm anh máu vía cho bà xây tam xây tam mai Sanskrit chẳng mất đó nè giờ hai trai lẽ nè trai lô cô trai lẽ trai lô cô trai lẽ nè cắt biển tới sân tới override nè rồi gọi overriding cái là niếm lật lục lục flux phải pruol lùm chế nè lùm rít nè cặp tiết cà rít cái nè nắng chia verb của ban cho nó trên nào lại năng sụp hơi nó trên nào cà prai pro đó nè không biết nó chơi nhá mà nặt màu đó cái lại này vâng không trăm mơ đây lô rô nạt thơ nhé nè mightiest, strongest. Recall, most powerful. Liền mở khơi nhắn tin thằng lại lộ tôi bên nè xem cái internet về đạt là nè astronomical ok nên tam chặt tha cam rồi internet đấy chẳng nhôm ai tham mơ pro để xa tại seva internet và pro cầm pung tại miền plieng lẹ lắng để sọc máy hay plieng hết câu rồi tẹt liệt vào mà kết tham mình ai lại bàn phong bàn tay này bật thầy bật than nó sẽ cầm ta con bón chui đấy ai sắc xa bàn tạm lái nè seva internet nó thêm mấy cái tam nhật tha cắm và cả sự thiệt ở lò nè sầm khăn đạp sầm lê nhé nè Mister I introduce you to this book Reincarnation. This book I bought 2011 from Sri Lanka when I was learning about karma, Buddhist concept about karma. So it provoked me to find and read more from other texts. So I found this book like a scientific research about the proof about being or human being who die and reborn. They claim that some time ago in the past people have misbelief that people do not reborn. After death there is no rebirth. So this is a scientific research by Truth, I think maybe pronunciation is a Truth Hado, no? Truth Hado. True cases of children who have lived before. Reincarnation. Children from India, Sri Lanka, England, USA, South Africa, Israel, Brazil, Turkey, and Lebanon remember their past lives. So this is a countries that they done the research and proof that those people have been living in the previous life and they still remember their past life. So they prove by delivering the message from their previous birth of what they have been before, of the scar and marks on their body. So I remember one of the small boy who used to be a helicopter guy. So when he was born at the age of 5 years old, his parents noticed that the boy always like playing alone and trying to make or design an aeroplane. Seems like he knows so much about do this and do that. He got his own like intuition without learning from other. So they just notice his everyday hobby. He tried to play by what we call I think another game. Like in the Western, the kid usually try to combine things up together. I don't know how that called.
Trying to do Legos, I think.
Something like when they have toys, cars, and then they divide it separately, but they try to combine it, make combination. Yeah. So the boy played that, and he knows well how to build an airplane. So later onward, he speak just about this, about that, about before I used to fly like this, like that, and then their parents noticed that this boy going to be crazy. He just talk here and there nonsense. But later onward, when they notice some of other messages that he deliver, until then they get his popularity, heard to others, and then especially the scientists, they come and do research, do investigation, and try to interview him and later onward they found that the boy told about his previous life, but sometimes people just ignore it, don't try to learn from what the boy say by just thinking he just talking nonsensely. So in this book they have interviewed so many children from several countries. So it is interesting. You should find and read. I think they have on Google. You just try reincarnation by Truth Harder to learn more about was there a previous life, and will human being reborn after death. So this is just a proof in relation to what we have learned about the Buddhist concept on karma and rebirth. So you are clear now that whenever the seed has not yet uprooted or eradicated, this will condition to a new rebirth, new existence. So for some other philosophy, they may not believe that there is a next life, but in Buddhism it is clear for a lot of us that we have learned, because the origin or the source of new existence is the old seed. As long as the old seed remains, it will, together with new cause and condition, it can lead to a new existence. So this is reality in Buddhism, that we talk about karma and rebirth. Whenever we talk about karma, we also have to talk about rebirth, because it is a direct consequence. When action is intentionally done, performed, the result of course will bear the fruits, whether immediately, whether in this existence or in next or hereafter, many other existence in the future to come, we don't know. And I also want to introduce this another book I also bought from Sri Lanka. The Buddha's explanation about the universe. នេះពុទ្ធដីកាដែលសម្ដែងអំពីចក្រវាលថាតើភពផែនដីពិភពលោកនេះកើតឡើងមកពីណាចាប់ផ្ដើមពីណាមកហើយនឹងត្រូវបញ្ចប់ទៅវិញដោយត្រឹមណាអញ្ចឹងនៅក្នុងប្រសូតមួយឈ្មោះអគ្គញ្ញសូតដែលនិយាយអំពីការចាប់ផ្ដើមនៃពិភពលោកនេះដែលយើងមានដំបូងគឺកំណើតមនុស្សដំបូងតាមពុទ្ធសាសនាចេញមកពីគេអភសរៈព្រំដែលព្រំមកពីឋានអភសរៈហ្នឹងណាហើយក៏មកជួបភពផែនដីហ្នឹងដែលមានរសជាតិអាហារមានពលឺមានអីចឹងទៅហើយក៏បរិភោគផ្សោយរហូតដល់ជាប់ចម្ពាក់ជាប់អីក្រោយៗមកក៏វិវត្តរឿងហ្នឹងណាចាក់ទៅនៅក្នុងសៀវភៅនេះគេមាននិយាយក្នុងឯកសារខ្មែរខ្ញុំណាអត់ដែលបានអានច្រើនទេហើយក៏ភ្លេចដែរធ្លាប់អានតិចតួចទេប៉ុន្តែដោយសារកណារៀននៅក្រៅនៅស្រីលង្កាគឺរៀនជាភាសាអង់គ្លេសអញ្ចឹងទៅដោយច្រើនគឺបានអានជាអង់គ្លេសខ្មែរអត់ដឹងឯកសារទេខ្ញុំណារៀនពីនេះច្រើនអ្នកប្រាជ្ញ CP Rana Singhe, this is the Sri Lankan scholars. This is written in 1957 ឆ្នាំ1957សភៅនេះយូរហើយ 1957 the book was written by the Sri Lankan scholars. So if you go there again, yeah, I bought from Buddhist Cultural Center where you went, right? So many books, so many important books there. Whenever I go to Sri Lanka, I never forget to go to the book center.
I went there because the monks told me about it.
Yeah.
The monks at the Cambodian center told me about the cultural center.
So many books, I like it. For example, wow, so many content.
Also, there is one more word that you can add maybe. When you talk about the origins of the universe or explanation of the universe or something like that, in English you can also say cosmogony.
Cosmology, right?
Cosmogony.
What, how to spell?
Cosmogony.
Okay, I do not know this word.
Cosmology is how the universe works.
Cosmo?
Yeah.
Cosmology, you mean?
C-O-S-M-O.
Oh, Cosmo, okay.
Cosmo, we can see the two words.
Cosmology, right?
There are two.
Okay.
This one.
Another one.
Cosmology, yes.
One more.
You can say also, this one is about the study of the origin, evolution, and fate of the universe. And you can have one more, Cosmo. C-O-S-M-O. Cosmo. M-O.
Coso, right?
No, M-O.
Cosmo, okay.
G.
G.
G, yes. O. and why?
Cosmogony.
Yes. So cosmo in
That
Greek, it means
okay.
universe.
Yeah, cosmos is universe and goni
Goni it means origins.
origins. Oh, origin of the universe.
Logi means science, reason.
What science?
Logi, you see cosmology.
Oh, okay. This is the science of universe. This is the origin of universe. Okay, thank you. This origin.
So, for example, if you are interested in looking for scholarly articles about Buddhist explanations of the universe, you can type on Google or on any scientific database. You can type Buddhist cosmology or Buddhist cosmogony, and you will find a lot of good articles, good research.
Okay, thank you. Okay, just sharing each other what we have got, the value books. Yeah, here include units of matter and mind, elements of inanimate matter, life element, feature of the mind and its states, conception of material life, guidance. Oh, yeah, interesting. So many good topics here, like units of matter and mind, physics and psychology. Man is matter and mind, man's tremendous energy, mathematics of infinity, space and time, central existence, gaps between bits, basic material energy, formation of substances, earth, water, air and fire, basic energy merge in all substances, constitution of the atom energy, how energies merge, actions of heat. Wow, interesting book, all like scientific. Yeah, so many content, you see, so many topic. Wow, interesting. វិទ្យាសាស្ត្រនេះសភៅនេះបងអានតែចេះច្រើនបើចេះអភិធម្មហើយរៀននេះវាវិទ្យាសាស្ត្រក៏ច្រើនវិទ្យាសាស្ត្រក៏ច្រើនភូមិវិទ្យាផែនដីវិទ្យាមកទាំងអស់ព្រោះវាតាក់ទងនឹងកំណើតនៃចក្រវាលណានេះនិយាយតាំងពី concept នៃពេលវេលា unit of time no calendar is perfectly constant ព្រោះ calendar ក៏វាមិនទៀងណាប្រតិទិនយើង the only constant phenomena strength of mind at the conception continuous flow of life waves. Yeah, that's what we have learned, right? Like a wave, mind's passage through time and space, where the mind of a material being exists, life without feeling, how sensations spring, increased activity of common currents. Wow, interesting. I haven't read all of this book. I just searched some of the point. I hope I will try to read. If you want to copy yourself, you can make a copy. Otherwise, just read on PDF file on Google, okay? Yeah, PDF is better. ល្អមែនតើសភៅហ្នឹងអញ្ចឹងគាត់យកមកចែកចាយណែនាំណាទៅការអង់គ្លេសអញ្ចឹងមិនទៅកំពុងរៀនអង់គ្លេសហ្នឹងព្រោះមានសភៅច្រើនតែយើងត្រូវការអានតែបើយើងអ្នករៀនឃើញសភៅគឺទ្រាំបានទេអូខេហើយយកមកអួតទៅណាយកមកអួតទៅដើម្បីឲ្យព្រះអង្គមានគំនិតចង់ស្រាវជ្រាវថែមតោះយើងប្រែបន្តិចទៅយើងសល់15នាទី Okay, let's go to the book a little bit because we have started very late due to the condition of the climate. Actually, we have studied, I think, a few classes already concerning this, the three characteristics, and to some extent, I hope you also understood to some point, right? Okay, so just go through it. On page 40 ណាទំព័រ40តោះយើងបកប្រែបន្តិចទៅthe next ការអប់រំចិត្តมันអាចចន្លោះ3ចំណុចនឹងបានទេណាពីព្រោះប្រសិនព្រោះ3នេះវាគឺជាលក្ខណៈដែលវាសាមញ្ញទូទៅណាសម្រាប់ជីវិតមិនមែនតែជីវិតមនុស្សយើងទេសូម្បីតែជីវិតសត្វដេរឆានទាំងរបស់មិនមានវិញ្ញាណក្តីក៏តាក់តែងស្ថិតនៅក្រោមអំណាចនៃត្រៃលក្ខធម៌3នឹងដែរដូចជាបរិស្ថានណាទូរស័ព្ទណាតុកអី nà đọ tập preh nập biên tranh preh nập biên có chi anatta đây là ngày bên tay vì mình thật là cầu anh để chẳng tục hàng này bên tay có chi anatta thọ đây mình chỉ được bọc luôn còn tay vì chỉ thọ đây rồi là chạ khăn vì ở thật là cầu cả tạ tay này bánh chạ khăn pram đấy là ngày bên tay nập biên có chi anatta thọ đây chẳng hay bạn bọn thay dương mình cua bậc cành móm nó không ở với đại chia nát ta đây vì mình chỉ bọc luôn số bây tới thoa chị gì là thoa có chia nát ta đây là bây dương riêng thoa vô tới dương bậc cành thoi thoa than chứ nè là tới bậc cành tha nhom trư nè cây không phải chân tới đây xa tới thoa nòm cái này bậc cành cái này anh nó có cả là đây xa cả bậc cành chấm púa thua chẳng bạn sầm đại đòi chơi từ tiết tha số bây giờ thua nó còn mình cua được cá pro can đài nè đây hỏi tứ rư cái tha được bây giờ dân sặc xa ở chơi mình tới tiết tứ sầm bây tại pơ lõ co mình ỏi pro cành pơ ở cái co mình ỏi pro cành cứ ti bấm phốt lẹ từng pi chọp chấm pẹ lẹ tang cổ sál lẹ tang ạ cổ sál đôi chân này hai bàn chia pra ra hắn chật rồi bỏ lốp dạng mấy cứ kệ để già chật functioning consciousness, the Arahanta, because they eliminated the root of evil minds, the unwholesome mind, lopa, dosa, moha. So, whatever action that they perform, not to get result. That is why without resultant consciousness, no resultant consciousness, no existence. Yeah, no. Intention have, but intention without the root of both unwholesome and wholesome. Actually, the human mind can develop up to this level. Whenever the mind is totally pure, I'm not talking about myself, I'm talking according to the book, according to what we have learned from the Buddha. Whenever the mind is completely pure, no any kind of mental state, both wholesome and unwholesome, or evil and good, cannot be attached with the mind of those pure consciousness. And then this pure consciousness, where there is no more attachment, will not condition to a rebirth, to a new existence. So this kind of consciousness is called Kiriya Chitta. And look at it. Yeah, Kiriya, I will write down for you. Kiriya Chitta. It only works by its own function, but no any attachment, both whether wholesome root or unwholesome root of the mind. Kiriya chật nó chật rồi bọc ra là hòn đây nè bà chật và thôi chân dân nơi chuột thả cọ tới dân lẹ bàn là phải là ó dân phớ dân chuột nữa đây là ó năng tiệt. We refer to the mind of Arahanta. Only Arahanta can be totally detached from both the six root. Three root is wholesome, other three is unwholesome, just in reverse order. Contrary, yes. Refer to the mind of Arahant. Yes. Yes. You understand the word Arahanta? Yes, we have already learned. So this Kiriya Chitta when a person, especially refer to like Arahanta, when we attain to the stage of complete or full enlightenment, or we become fullនៅពេលដែលព្រះអរហន្តលោកបំពេញការងារធ្វើនៅទង្វើកម្មទោះបីថាជាកុសលកម្មក៏ដោយវាអត់តាក់តែងវាអត់នាំឲ្យទទួលនៅផលទេអត់មានវិបាកអីណាអត់មានវិបាកអញ្ចឹងទៅវាអត់តាក់តែងជាតិកំណើតទេណាពួកលោកបានសម្រេចដល់ចំណុចហ្នឹងហើយលោកអត់ចិត្តលោកលែងជាប់ចម្ពាក់ហើយបរិសុទ្ធទាំងស្រុងហើយនៅពុទ្ធជនយើងកុំថាខ្ញុំជាប់ចម្ពាក់ទេប៉ុន្តែចិត្តយើងវានៅតែញាប់ញ័រអញ្ចឹងណាគ្រាន់តែតិចនឹងច្រើនទៅតាមសតិរវាងឬក៏ថាអ្នកខ្លះអប់រំចិត្តបានច្រើនទៅមានលំនឹងខ្លាំងទៅយើងមើលអត់ដឹងទេគេសរសើរអញ្ចឹងទៅមិនមែនត្រេកអរទេណាគ្រាន់តែថាមិនបង្ហាញតាមអាការៈទឹកមុខស៊ីចូលអីប៉ុន្តែចង្ការក្នុងចិត្តហ្នឹងវាលួចសុបាយដែរណាប្រជនយើងមែនទេគេទៅសើឡើងឯងធ្វើអញ្ចឹងល្អណាក្នុងចិត្តហ្នឹងលួចឲ្យញឹមក្នុងចិត្តហ្នឹងមែនទេណាអញ្ចឹងវានៅជាប់អាញឹមហ្នឹងអាសុបាយអាហ្នឹងវាឃើញសោមនស្សប៉ុន្តែនៅព្រះអរហន្តនៅពេលលោកអាញឹមលោកញញឹមដល់ចិត្តអីគេហសិតបាតចិត្តអត់មែនជាមួយនឹងសោមនស្សដែលជាប់ដោយលោភៈទេហសិតបាត so I'm talking even when we are being praised by others even some people due to their mindfulness due to their educated mind well training mind they may not react in any kind of facial expression or bodily expression when they got praised by others but at least in the mind they feel happy when others praise oh you are good you're doing this very good and nicely like that so you still happy and this happy feeling we call pleasant feeling and it will lead to a result because it is still rooted in the among the 6 kinds of the root even it is wholesome yeah but it is in attachment so when we develop our mind more and more it can reach up to the state where there is no more attachment even to the 6 kinds of roots both wholesome and unwholesome both good or bad both suffering or happiness our mind just firmly in the middle functioning mind so for normal human being or worldly being whenever we are happy whenever we are smiling whenever we are laughing we laugh we smile with the happy feeling with the what we call the pleasant yeah pleasant also manasa pleasant feeling but for arahanta when they smile with the hasitopatya chat how to say in English
How do you say in Khmer?
I try to think in English hasitopat ហ្នឹងក៏ smiling produce consciousness okay I just write down this for you no ឧបេក្ខាវាមិនមែនជាសោមនស្សទេ no it's different you can check this word on Google or in the Pali dictionary if you have Pali dictionary you should install the Pali dictionary Pali English dictionary you just search this word ណាហសិតបាតណាហ្នឹងគឺជាចិត្តដែលព្រះអរហន្តនៅពេលដែលលោកញញឹមគេលោកញញឹមដោយហសិតបាតចិត្តណាមិនមែនប្រកបដោយលោភៈដោយសោមនស្សវេទនាទេដែលវាញ៉ាំងឲ្យមានបដិសន្ធិណាwhenever we smile with the happy feeling or pleasant feeling this good karma that we for example when we are doing good we smile we are happy due to the attachment in the good that we doing so it will lead to a good result still producing more and more rebirth even it is a good rebirth but the samsara the cycle of life is prolonged due to our karma committed So in the stage of Arahanta, he cut off the root of samsara because whatever action he performed without any attachment that will lead to that will produce a existence. So even when they smile with this kind of consciousness. So please research this more to understand by yourself. I think when you search on Google, you will gain more understanding, okay, clearly than what I explained, because my knowledge is very limited. So sometimes you cannot understand well. Try to research more.
Basics before learning more advanced concepts.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. What time now? Okay. So let's continue. The nature of existence comprises the following overriding characteristics. Now, ធម្មជាតិនៃជីវិតណា the nature of existence comprises ណាវាមាននៅលក្ខណៈទាំងឡាយខាងក្រោមនេះដែលដោយលើសលប់ណាមានន័យថាលក្ខណៈ3ហ្នឹងគឺថាវាមានគ្រប់មនុស្សទាំងអស់មនុស្សណាក៏ត្រូវតែមានអាហ្នឹងវាពាក្យ3ហ្នឹងណាគឺប្រែប្រួលអត់ទៀងរហូតសម្បីទូរស័ព្ទរបស់ដែលយើងប្រើពីមុនថ្មីប្រើបានមួយខែមួយឆ្នាំក៏ចាស់ទៅយឺតទៅណាយើងសម្គាល់ឃើញសម្បីខោអាវយើងស្លៀកពាក់ណាក៏វាប្រែប្រួលណារូបរាងកាយរបស់យើងក៏វាប្រែប្រួលអត្ថិដ្ឋេនៃអនិច្ចំណាអូខេ impermanence suffering ណារបស់ដែលវាប្រែប្រួលហើយបានយើងចេះតែជួបទុកហ្នឹងណាចេះតែពិបាកចិត្តចេះតែអីដោយសារតែរបស់ហ្នឹងវាមិនថិតថេរគ្រប់រឿងទាំងអស់ទាំងរឿងផ្លូវចិត្តក្តីណាទី3 egolessness អនត្តា Okay, impermanence anicca means that nothing in this world is permanent. Everything that we see around us seems the same, but is actually in a state of constant flux. The flowers that bloom today will wither tomorrow. Impermanence is a law of the universe which nothing can escape, from the mightiest astronomical systems to the most microscopic forms of life. ណា impermanent ណាអនិច្ចំសភាពប្រែប្រួលមិនទៀងទាត់មិនថិតថេរហ្នឹងមានន័យថា nothing in this world is permanent មានន័យថារឿងរ៉ាវទាំងអស់គ្រប់យ៉ាងណាមិនមានអ្វីមួយទៀងទេនៅក្នុងពិភពលោកនេះស្អីក៏អត់ទៀងដែរស្អីក៏វាមិនថិតថេរជាអមតៈដែរកើតហើយវិនាសទៅវិញសម្បីតែផែនដីក៏វាត្រូវឆេះទៅវិញដែរព្រោះតែវាអាយុវែងរាប់ពាន់ឆ្នាំអញ្ចឹងទៅណារាប់ពាន់លានឆ្នាំប៉ុន្តែវាគង់តែវិនិច្ឆ័យទៅវិញដដែលមិនយើងហៅឆេះកាប់ហ្នឹងណា Everything that we see around us seems the same ណាអ្វីទាំងអស់ដែលយើងឃើញនៅជុំវិញខ្លួនយើងហ្នឹងមើលទៅដូចជាវានៅដដែលដូចតុកអញ្ចឹងយើងប្រើយូរក្តារខៀនយើងប្រើយូរហើយប៉ុន្តែយើងគិតថាវានៅដដែលតែបើយើងសម្គាល់មើលលក្ខណៈវាទៅដូចមិនមែនដដែលទេវាចាស់ទៅវារិចរិលទៅណាវាអន់ថយទៅវាត្រុតត្រោមទៅ but ប៉ុន្តែ is actually in a state of constant flux ប៉ុន្តែតាមពិតគឺវាស្ថិតនៅក្នុងលក្ខណៈនៃការប្រែប្រួលជានិច្ច constant ណា The flowers that bloom today បុប្ផាផ្កាដែលរីកក្រពុំនៅថ្ងៃនេះ will wither tomorrow នឹងក្រៀមស្វិតស្រពោនវិញនៅថ្ងៃស្អែកណាផ្កាវារីកពេលព្រឹកចឹងទៅដល់ពេលរសៀលល្ងាចអីចឹងវានេះអាស្រពោនវាក្តោបទៅវិញណាអាហ្នឹងបង្ហាញពីភាពមិនទៀងហ្នឹង Impermanent is the law of the universe ណាសេចក្តីមិនទៀងនេះគឺជាច្បាប់ធម្មជាតិណាគឺជាច្បាប់នៃសកលច្បាប់ចក្រវាល which nothing can escape ណាដោយគ្មានអ្វីមួយអាចគេចផុតបានឡើយ from the mightiest astronomical system ណាអំពីប្រព័ន្ធនៃតារាសាស្ត្រដ៏មានឥទ្ធិពលខ្លាំងដ៏មានឥទ្ធិពលនេះណាយើងកត់ឲ្យពាក្យលុបវិញបាត់ហើយណា mighty ហ្នឹងគឺខ្លាំងពូកែអស្ចារ្យដល់ពេល mightiest the strongest the most powerful ហ្នឹងគឺទំនាញចក្រវាលទំនាញសកលអ្វីវាស្ថិតនៅលើទំនាញណានៅក្នុងចក្រវាលនៅក្នុងអាកាសក៏វាមានទំនាញហើយកន្លែងខ្លះវាអត់មានទំនាញហើយសញ្ញអាកាស vì đại để chân tới đôi nơi phàn đầy chẳng hạt đây bàn chỉ dừng phàn đấy vì đôi chỉ play crồi riêng mù hái vì thôi tầm nào vơi lời luôn vì phóng vì vơi chùm vĩnh về hạt tịch phòng hay bởi vơi chẳng hạt đây bàn mình nuôi dân show lời phàn đầy chọp bom đua đây về dân mơ phàn ti Google Map ấy bọn khơi nhé thùng về tôi tới bị phục lột phàn ti nó mù chẳng ạ đây đây khơi nhà phàn ti mù thông cái đã riêng phùng về chia đấy nè nè và mình được phàn đây về vơi chẳng hốt dân bom đua cặp ngào ấy nè đây phép class nơi cao mà phép bằng bạch nơi gần chơi miền khang chơi miền khang tơ bông miền là lơ miền là khom hay cho bờ vân là hột chẳng hay về vân trong vinh về tật tiệt là mình đua ngọt ói mình được nâng mình có về chuột nơi phàn đầy nắng tham màu về miền ấy miền tùng niên cho nên cái tùng niên phàn đầy cho bà về ghế vậy ghế Newton dân riêng phàn đầy về chia dân đăng này we are talking about the law of Newton that he found the force, the energy force, like why we can stand up firmly on this earth, because the nature of the earth is keeps rotating around by itself and also rotating around the sun, right?
Gravity,
yeah. So this is a kind of galaxies, the way how the universe works together in a combination.
One also wants to explain why the moon doesn't fall from the earth.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Because it's constantly falling, and then as it falls, it gathers speed, and so gravity acts with more strength upon it, and so it comes back up. But before it can fall onto the earth, it's sent somewhere else by gravity. All that by gravity, you know?
Yeah, gravity.
So
Yeah.
The moon doesn't fly away from the earth.
Nâng ngay miền tùm niên như nào. Yes. Yeah, that is why we are talking about this. Why we can stand here, because the earth is keep rotating all the time. Because we have the energy, we have the power from here, what we call astronomical system, that it works in its way. And okay, to the most microscopic forms of life. ណាអញ្ចឹងអំពីប្រព័ន្ធនៃតារាសាស្ត្រដ៏មានឥទ្ធិពលនេះណាឆ្ពោះទៅកាន់ to the most ណា microscopic formula ទម្រង់នៃជីវិតរហូតដល់លក្ខណៈអីគេនេះអតិសខមទស្សន៍វាល្អិតសុខុមនៃកន្លែងហ្នឹងកណាយល់ច្បាស់ដែរទេវាតាក់ទងនឹងវិទ្យាសាស្ត្រណាចាំឲ្យបងបញ្យល់ Can you explain the last phrase? It is concerning with the what we call geology. Can you explain?
Or even biology.
Yeah, I got.
Biology.
Yeah, please explain the last phrase because I'm not familiar.
With the words microscopic, you mean? Or
not just the one word, but the last sentence. Impermanent is the law of the universe, which nothing can escape, from the mightiest astronomical system to the most microscopic forms of life. Yeah, very scientific word, so
yes,
I don't really get the point well.
Well, they mean that you have to get the idea. If you look at the mightiest astronomical systems, what are they? They are stars and galaxies and clusters of galaxies, so they're very, very big. And the most microscopic forms of life means the smallest forms of life. So what they mean is that impermanence is a law of the universe, which nothing can escape, from the biggest things to the smallest things. It is another way of saying this, yes. Usually in English you will also say often from the infinitely big to the infinitely small. Because we never know where big and small stop.
Yeah.
If you look at atoms, and if you look at the entire universe, you will see it is very uncanny because it is very similar. The first time you see it, you are very surprised that looking at all the galaxies in the world and looking at what is very, very small, it seems to be exactly the same when you look at it. So yes, it means for everything.
Yes, from the biggest to the smallest.
So
okay,
everything.
Now we got the point.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for
thank you.
sharing. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, lợi ông Dũng đó. nè mình lại vô kho chân tới cái này quạt chuối cái tới chuẩn chết cái bậc cái mất này chết chán à giỡn ta ăn chùm niên ăn tới còn bên căn Phật giáo nè see you can ask him Riêng mấy khai so you just start learning in this class or previously have you learned anywhere else?
I just started learning in this class.
Còn tâm riêng không thằng này nè.
Before studying in this class, no, I knew very little. I knew only that in Buddhism there was Buddha.
There was Buddha.
No.
Okay, so this is the last of the hour.
Before I began studying in this class, Pelmon Nyomrien Chimoy Lokta. Lokta Lokru. Pelmon Nyom Ot Squal Sasana Prebut Lao. Before I did not know about Buddhism at all. I knew only the smallest thing. Nyom Dang Tik 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 Tik. I knew only that Buddha was at the center of Buddhism and that meditation was a part of Buddhism, but I didn't know anything more, anything more. Yeah.
So what did you? Okay, you can ask him.
What do you think about Buddhism after you have learned for 1 month?
I think it's very interesting. After 1 month of study, I have learned a lot of things that I think are useful to me in my personal life, and I also. It opens up a lot of questions to think about, especially because it's a system of thought very different from the ones that I grew up with and was used to. So it's a very different way to think than the Western ways, but it is a very systematic and coherent way. I think that's the most, for me, that was the biggest surprise was how systematic Buddhism is compared to many other South systems. So it's very interesting. I look forward to knowing more. We have 1 month left. Yeah.
No, he just started in this Buddhism class.
I've never meditated. I don't know about. No, I've never meditated in my life. What did?
Can talk.
You can ask question if you want.
Because today we don't have all students here, so we can do just discuss a little bit at the end of the class.
For sure.
To review what we have learned. You can ask anything what we have learned from the class. We have learned so many topics, right? Okay, ask him and discuss.
Maybe when you finish this class, you will do meditation by yourself or?
Yeah, I hope to learn meditation. I hope the venerables can teach me. Can teach me a little bit.
The technique yet.
I have not learned the technique yet,
So
so
you don't know how to meditate.
no. So I need to learn first.
Yeah.
But I would definitely be open to doing it. I want to learn more about it, definitely. I think
What you have learned about the theory of meditation, how do you think about Buddhist meditation according to what you understood?
I think it's mostly an exercise in focus and in learning how to discipline your mind. And I think it's maybe the most organized part of Buddhism in a way, the most clearly delineated part of Buddhism. It's very central because I think Buddhism as a whole puts a strong emphasis on the mind and on mental discipline first and foremost. And from what I understand, meditation is among the most important ways to gain that mental discipline. And that is something that I learned before Buddhism, but it is definitely backed up by research that meditation can help improve mental discipline. But I think if you look at meditation on the importance of the mind and the importance of mental discipline. That's not something that's just taught when discussing meditation. It's taught in every single topic in Buddhism. It's about how can you make the mind stronger, how there was this passage in the Dhammapada, I think, that says that the ones who have a disciplined mind have a mind like an arrow, and the ones who don't, I don't remember what it said. Or it said that the ones who, in particular, this emphasis on mental discipline, I find very interesting in our particular times, because I think that in the West, unfortunately, people have largely stopped thinking and learning about how to discipline their mind and how to live a happy life. They know a lot of things for sure. They're very educated. They have very good education systems in the West. But I think that where education now is lacking in the West is about how to live your life. They teach you everything about science, about biology, about chemistry, mathematics, about writing, reading. They teach you many different languages. But even for those who've been to the best colleges and universities, if you ask them the question, what is your idea of how to live a happy life, how to live a good life, they will not be able to answer. Even when they are very educated, because that's not something that's even studied anymore. I don't think I had any class on that topic when I was in college myself.
What was your major in university?
Political science, and I was in an interdisciplinary program, honors program, which also allowed me to study classics. So classical letters, meaning literature and history of ancient Greece and ancient Rome, and philosophy, ancient philosophy.
You have learned so many areas.
Yeah, in America, one is free to inquire many different areas. One even has to. You have. It's called liberal arts. You have to study You have a major, for example, like political science, but on top of that, they want you to study many different kinds of topics, which I think is a good thing. But among all those topics, we didn't study the good life, and yet, even if you look at Western philosophy, or whether you look at Western philosophy or Eastern philosophy, the search for the good life, the search for the happy life, has been a very central theme. And it's very surprising to see it completely abandoned now from the intellectual conversation in the West. Apart from a very niche group of people, it's not discussed anymore, really, and it's not taught anymore. So I think that is also what I find so interesting in Buddhism, that it outlines, delineates a path towards a more fulfilling life. And
after what you have learned from this our class about a month, have you put any of the theory that you have learned from this class into your practical daily life?
Yeah, I would say that I definitely try to watch my thoughts more.
What?
I think that watch my thoughts more, or try to understand that you are not powerless in front of your thoughts, that you can't let your thoughts control you, and that you cannot control what you think, and you cannot control how you react to the things you see or the things you think. But what you can control is how you react to that first thought, or how you react to the reaction.
Your mind.
Exactly, and so you can start trying to be more mindful, and if you catch yourself thinking something that you know is not conducive to happiness, then try to catch yourself making that mistake and tell yourself that you're making a mistake, knowing why, and try to correct and develop a more positive thought pattern, which in a way, it can sound very mystic to foreigners, but Western psychology gives much of the same advice. For example, cognitive behavioral therapy is all about doing exactly that, catching bad behavioral patterns and stopping them before they make damage. So this is another thing that I think is a big thing that I've learned this month in my study of Buddhism, is that there is a lot in common between Buddhism and other major philosophies of the world. Whether, for example, the question of suffering, which is very important in Buddhism. Buddhism clearly states that suffering is everywhere, and everywhere, across space and time. And you find much of the same idea in Greek philosophy. One of my favorite verses in Greek literature is from a tragedy by Aeschylus, in which the main character says, "Men shall learn wisdom by affliction schooled, that men shall learn wisdom through suffering." And it's an idea that you find also in Buddhism.
So, I think you have learned about Western psychology, right?
Yeah, I've learned a little bit.
How is it related to the theory in Buddhism? Because in Buddhism, whatever topics that we are learning here, mostly our focus is on mind training, how the mind works, how we can put senses into guard, into control, So can you give just a little bit idea concerning like the psychology of what you have learned from the West and concerning the psychology in Buddhism?
Yeah, I think the central idea, the central takeaway from Buddhism is that, of course, it's hard to compare because there are different schools of psychology and not everyone agrees on what is good and what is not good. But in general, from what I know, Buddhism puts a very strong emphasis on mental discipline, right? Yeah. It's all about mental discipline, how to train your mind, how to build a stronger mind. And part of how to build a stronger mind is really being the master of your own reactions, knowing how you will react to things and thinking about that deliberately, above all, with intentionality, making your own, not your own because you learn the Noble Eightfold Path. So that's the moral code that should govern your life. And based on that moral code, you then try to adjust your thoughts and your actions to fit that moral code and to act congruently, which means to act in respect of those values that you have. In Western psychology, I think they have shown that one of the key things that make people unhappy, and right now in the West you have a big wave of anxiety and depression among certain segments of the population, especially young people. You have more suicides in the US and in the UK and in Australia than you have had in many, many years. You have more anxiety, you have more depression. So people, and especially young people, are feeling lost. A lot of them are feeling lost, a lot of them are not feeling happy. Of course there are happy young people in the West, but more and more of them are not feeling happy and not really knowing where they're going. And I think a large part of that is what psychology calls locus of control, meaning that if you have the feeling that you have no control over your life, that you're simply like an object, like a boat in a storm, that the waves come and go and there is nothing you can do, and maybe the boat will sink, or maybe it will float, but you don't control anything. If you have that kind of feeling, then it's very difficult to be happy. And I think where Buddhism meets Western psychology here is that Buddhism teaches you how to train your minds, and training your mind teaches you how to control your life better, and gives you a feeling that, and even, maybe you cannot control your external circumstances, but you can control how you react to those external circumstances. So it will even help you deal with things that are difficult, when you witness difficult things. And to try and distantiate yourself from those things and take a few steps back and examine the situation from a more objective standpoint.
So how do they usually solve those problems, concerning what you have raised about the problem that people are facing in the West?
It's difficult right now.
So how do they solve this problem according to the psychology?
Right now it's difficult because the first line of defense in general in the West is medication. So they will administer a lot of medication, but the problem with medication is that most of the medication that's aimed at treating things like anxiety and depression is either addictive or the problem is that it won't work after a while if you don't increase the dose. So you can't keep increasing forever One, because it would be very expensive, and two, because it would be ridiculous, and at some point you risk having very bad side effects, where the side effects from the medicine will be worse than the disease the medicine is supposed to treat. And most of all, I think that medicine focuses on the symptoms and not the cause. So for a patient with excessive anxiety who gets prescribed benzodiazepines, Valium, Xanax, this kind of medicine, it will work in the very short run to calm him, of course, because it's biological. It's medicine that will just put people out and literally turn their brain way down, you know, so their brain will not work as fast, and so they will not be so anxious. For sure, that's true, as long as the medicine works. But there you treat the symptom of anxiety, that the person is anxious, not necessarily the cause. That's what's more interesting. Why is the person feeling anxious, you know? And Western psychology will tend to do that through cognitive behavioral therapies mostly. But I think now a large part of the problem is that a lot of people will not seek treatment, and that even though therapies, they require a lot of effort, and they require the belief that you can change yourself and your conditions. Yeah. And if you don't believe that you can, if you believe that you're helpless in front of your emotions, it's very easy to get lost and very hard to find your way back to a more peaceful state of mind. It's very, very hard, because you start believing that you can't do it. And for as long as you believe that you can't do it, it's very hard to do it. So you're blocked in a bad mental circle, in a bad mental cycle. And so far, I think I'm not responding to you very clearly about the solutions, but the reason is that we haven't found them really. Because if you look, if we had found the solution, if we had the solutions, you wouldn't see rates of anxiety and depression and suicide increasing. You would see them decreasing. So now clearly a problem has emerged in the last 10 years that wasn't there before. We don't know exactly what it is, but it's something, because else this would not be happening. And we have not yet found how to effectively help people in that front. But really, I think for me the main dichotomy right now that I see between some important trends in Western thought, because not all of Western thought is like that, and Buddhism, is that lots of trends in Western thought right now emphasize the way people are acted upon by other forces, by systemic forces in society. And in the end, and those things, in my opinion, that's very much a matter of personal opinion, I want to be clear. In my opinion, those things, those forces are real. The systemic forces in society exist, and society and countries will have a very big impact on individual lives, that's true. But I think that the individual still has power and responsibility and agency. And that is, I think, at the center of Buddhism, the notion that the individual person, whatever their circumstances, has to try and better themselves and improve their conditions. That you should not just say, well, I was born I was born poor, or I was born ugly, or I was born stupid, or anything you want, and then just say, well, resign yourself to these conditions and just do nothing with your life because you were born like that. It says, no, you can try to improve your life. Like?
You remember what Bill Gates said?
What did Bill Gates say?
Born poor is not your mistake, but if you die poor, it's your mistake. Right?
Well, I didn't know he said that, but yeah, and for sure, you know, it's very hard to get out of things like poverty, and it's always easier to say to someone, well, you know, help yourself out, try to help yourself, try to control yourself, and try to improve yourself. It's very easy to say that, especially when you don't have so many difficulties yourself. But I think in the end, as simple as it sounds, it's the only thing that you can do. You can always help people from the outside, but at one point, you know, and people might not be able to succeed without outside help, but in the end, in the final analysis, the only person that will make a difference is the individual, you yourself. You know, you can try to help me for 2 months, and if I don't, you can, for example, if you give me advice about how to be happier, you can give me the advice, but it's incumbent upon me to put the advice in practice. If I don't practice the advice, I will not be happier. Similarly, you know, you can give money to someone poor in the street. You can give, you know, you see a child in the street, you could give him $100 here in Cambodia. That would be a lot of money. That would be like half a regular person's salary, but that will not help them in the long term. They will not learn, you know.
So interesting about that.
Yeah. So it's,
like,
yeah.
Not just give people the fish, but rather better
Teach them how to fish. Yes. So that's a big thing in that's something that all Western people have heard one day or the other. But that's something I think that we in the West put less and less into practice. The fact that we shouldn't wait for the government, for companies, for NGOs to help us, but we should really try and make our own path. And I'm saying this very much personally, being in favor of a strong government and being in favor of NGOs existing and charities doing their work. And I support NGOs, I support charities, and I'm going to continue to support them. I'm just saying you need to have both sides. You need to have organizations and the collective that provides help to individuals, but you also need to have the individual helping himself. If you have just one, it won't work. If it's just the individual trying to get out without help from anybody, it will be very difficult. But if it is just somebody else trying to help the individual, it will also be very difficult. It will not move forward.
To the Buddha saying that one is one's own refuge.
Yeah.
Others cannot be as the best as refuge of ourselves refuge.
Yes.
So to be self-refuge means to have self-wisdom in order to guide oneself in the right path, to find one's own real refuge, because only one that can help one in all the kinds of situation or in any circumstances.
Yes.
We cannot depend or rely on others, even when we want to be, when we want to eat something. Exactly, that we have to rely on ourselves, right?
Yes, but at the same time, I think it would be very inaccurate to say that Buddhism is a religion of, or a system of thought or a philosophy of individualism, because at the same time there's a very strong collective component to Buddhism. You are the best proof. You belong to the Sangha, and when people take refuge in Buddhism, I think you take refuge in the Buddha and in the Dhamma, but also the Sangha.
Yeah, the Sangha.
So the companionship of the Sangha all over the world and the community all over the world. So I don't think that Buddhism ignores or denies the importance of the community.
Yeah.
I think,
Some people they think,
but it just takes, I think that, no, I think the reason for that, the reason that community may not be emphasized in the Buddhist writings themselves is because it is such an essential and basic part of life in Asia, and it has been for so long that in the time of the Buddha it seemed so obvious that there was no time to talk about it, no need to talk about it, you know, that you need the help of the community and that you live in a community, because it's the only life they knew and it's the only life they've known. And that's for sure is something, it's a major difference between the East and the West now. And even though it's not directly related to Buddhism, I still think it's important to mention, to understand, perhaps one of the reasons why community is stronger in the East is because of the different belief systems of the East, and Buddhism is part of that. Right now in the West, you have very little community compared to what you have here, and I think, you know, many of you would be very surprised if you go to the East, but to the West, you know, people don't live in the same city as their parents, as their grandparents. After between 18 and 25 years old, after that, people will mostly be with their friends or with other people they meet, not necessarily with their families. People will be rather reluctant to, depending on the people, but they will be rather reluctant to help just for nothing, just for if there's no. Not necessarily money or anything, but they will help if they get the understanding that you will help in return, you know. Yeah, people definitely live a lot less lives that are a lot less oriented towards the community, and I think that's part of why they are feeling. Many of them are feeling lonely and difficult.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you
for your sharing, and yeah, we have learned a lot from you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, so yes, yeah, okay. Time not up but over. But actually we started the live video very late, like almost half hour late due to the climate condition. So anyway, thank you very much for sharing the idea in our class, and also I think for some people who are also watching on live video can get some benefit by taking the idea in consideration and do comparison and trying to get to learn more of what we haven't learned, you know, discovering new things, new ideas, and regardless of source, I mean regardless of religious background or you know, different walks of life, people can share different things, and we also can learn new things and in different ways, because we have the same purpose of life. The common purpose of every living being is to be happy, but in order to gain this happiness, there are so many paths and ways and forms in order to reach to this goal. Not necessarily be in our own tradition, not necessarily be ours, but sometimes in ours we stuck with the idea that we cannot find any other solution which is better than this. We should consider to find any other sources regardless of the nationality or religion. We should rather consider about just way of life that we should learn from one another in order to live happy in this life with ourselves and with others, because what is important in our life is happiness, and this happiness, if we are taking it on our own account alone, we become selfish, and with this selfish character we cannot live in harmony with the others, what we call social harmony. So this is very important factor in the world nowadays, that people are trying to combine and work together from different background of life, from different country, different nationality, because we all are human beings, and what we need is a social harmony. We need to live in peace and happiness. So it is not about the dessert in our own bowl. We should think that the taste of the fruit can be different, the taste of the dessert can be different, but even it is in the bowl of yours, you may share and I can eat, you know, not necessarily clinging on, oh, I have to eat only when the dessert is in my bowl and I won't eat the dessert in your bowl. So this is just a similarity with tradition that people have been holding on to, and they cling on to as ours, as yours, as theirs, and then some people, they may not wholeheartedly accept tradition from others. They mostly tend to have a bias on their own account, on their own tradition. Most likely, I think, even our Cambodian people, sometimes we think like this is what we have done in the past, so we must keep doing this. So they block the ideas of, you know, learning new things from others. They do not open their heart, open their mind to learn from new people, new nationality, or new religious way of life. So this is just the idea to broaden our mind, not to block the knowledge of ourselves, but rather we should open our eyes, open our heart, open our mind to learn more, because knowledge is very vast, and within our own understanding we cannot claim that we are totally right. So we must always have open-minded and try to learn more, study about Buddhism. At the same time we also learn about scientific, try to understand more about different sorts of life which makes the ingredients of happiness. So that is why I'm very happy that you can share with us, and as long as we have you in the class, this class also become better and better, because we can share and we can learn together, just like I am sharing nowadays. I never think that I am a teacher,